Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. It doesn't matter if you were sitting or not. Pretty basic episode. I really have nothing monumental planned this week. I do want to talk about... I have a few notes of, bullet points I wanted to hit. We did watch... I don't know if there's more than one. We haven't watched the reunion things yet.
Oh.
But we did watch Quiet on Set.
Yeah, no, I think that was it.
Well, I don't know. Because I've seen, they were released weekly, I think. So I don't know if there's more of those reunion special things, or...
It'd be weird if there...
But... I don't know. I don't know that I cared for it.
I was a bit underwhelmed.
Yeah. That's probably the best way to describe it, would be underwhelmed.
The Drake Bell portion of it was awful.
What I don't understand...
But they hyped it up. They hyped it up to be that there's going to be something with the females.
So I don't understand.
And then you took a left turn to that other guy in Drake Bell. And then I was just confused.
And what brought it up was, Christy Carlson Romano, who was the sister on Even Stevens...
I'm well aware who that
said
is.
In it. I didn't. People watching at home, who knows?
Brad loves her.
She did an interview somewhere, podcast probably, where she was offered to do something similar to that by Investigation Discovery, and she turned it down. And
what happened to her?
Well, I don't know if it was something that happened to her.
Comment. Yeah, it's a comment on something. Got it.
If it was the same style of thing where they were going to do that for Disney almost instead of Nickelodeon.
But it still means that, which I don't doubt it. I'm not saying that that's not possible, but that means that something happened that someone knows about.
Well, I'll get to that in a second. So her comment was that it wasn't being done from someone on the inside kind of thing. She's fully on board with bringing light to these things and making them known, but it wasn't something being done by someone who was there, kind of deal. She used the term, which I think is brilliant, trauma tourists.
Oh,
is what she described them as.
Yeah, where they just...
And people immediately jumped up her ass about it, that, and just because it's someone that wasn't there doesn't mean, they can't expose things. And it was this whole,
They can, but it doesn't mean as much.
They took the veil of, she's trying to protect people, and I'm I don't think that's the case, but...
Yeah, I think she's trying to protect the people who it happened to, not the people who did it.
Well, my whole thing was, and we kind of talked about it, there was some stuff in that ID and Quiet on the Set that was weird.
Well, it was ID, that's why.
I forget what episode it was and what specific line of dialogue it was, but it was a line of dialogue that if I heard it, I would think, oh, that came from someone that was there and actually experienced this. But it was someone who just worked for Investigation Discovery, and I'm that means nothing coming from you.
Wasn't it? It was that girl, and she's just a journalist.
No, it was it wasn't the main girl you see in every episode. It was a different journalist for Investigation Discovery. But my point is more what she said was something that should have came from a victim or someone that was involved, and it just came from this investigator.
And a lot of them,
and I'm
they weren't. They don't even seem old enough to even have.
It's weird.
Know what they're talking about.
Came from you.
Yeah.
So I get it, but my other thought was with the show as a whole, and what was strange to me was that the Drake Bell and all the three predators and pedophiles that worked on those shows was an episode sandwiched in the middle of Dan Schneider is an asshole.
Yeah.
Not saying that what Dan Schneider did was great, but essentially you had, so what was it, 5 episodes total?
I think so.
So essentially you had 2 episodes of man, Dan Schneider's a real piece of shit. Then an episode about 3 pedophiles.
2. Because it's just the 3 dudes.
Yeah, there were 3 pedophiles.
Yeah, but according to the ID documentary, Dan Schneider never did anything sexually inappropriate. No, I'm not saying Dan Schneider. The Drake Bell episode, it's that guy who's messaging that girl, pedophile. Oh.
The guy who assaults...
Right, and then that camera guy. Yep. So there's four. There's
Drake Bell,
four
and
people
that weirdo
total
guy
who just brought a
who
kid.
just showed up with a kid on set. And people were like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then 2 more episodes about how like Dan Schneider's an asshole, and I'm like, weird to me that you have a whole documentary where your big explosive thing is pedophiles and children's television, but you chose to focus more on like
Dan Schneider.
Oh, this guy really made a toxic workplace.
I mean,
and it's like, okay.
From all the...
I hate to break it to you, ID, but like, I care more about this than I give a fuck about any of what Dan Schneider did.
I mean, I don't think he's
like,
great,
no offense, but compared to your 3rd episode, what Dan Schneider did doesn't fucking matter.
No. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Also...
But I think Dan Schneider did other things.
I don't know. They don't talk about... I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this documentary.
But that's what...
And it's weird to me that's what they focused on.
We got to the end. I'm like, something's missing here. You stopped short.
I don't know. It was very strange.
It felt like you wanted to go somewhere and you got all dead ends. And instead of just like pushing till you got what you wanted,
well, and the fact of,
you
like,
settled for this.
Well, and the fact that you had that whole thing with Mark Summers, where he was clearly brought there under false pretenses, and then when he found out what was actually happening, he left. Which, good on him.
There wasn't many people like him, though.
What do you mean?
Because it was all kids from the shows. And then a few people that worked with him.
I would imagine someone... Well, there wasn't a ton of people in the position that Mark Summers was in.
That's what I mean. So we don't. Who knows? Like, how many people did they bring in, and they wouldn't like? They sat down.
What did they ask?
And they got turned down.
Or like, I don't even know who they would have asked. Because who else would you have asked? The guy from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
The guy from Guts.
But see, I don't. But see, here's my thing. I don't think you're asking them. They asked Mark Summers because Mark Summers is still a celebrity.
Oh.
Like, the other adults that were on at the time of Mark
ask.
Summers don't really do anything anymore, and if they do, it's behind camera stuff. Like, they're not really famous anymore. Whereas, like, Mark Summers still has presence.
But what's odd is...
So they thought, oh, we'll ask Mark Summers to do it, and that'll bring, like, attention to it.
Why didn't the guy from Drake and Josh just say anything?
I'm wondering if he either wasn't asked. I don't know, because he did... Drake Bell had to put out on social media, like, leave him alone, guys. Like, we've had conversations, we've
but
dealt with this.
I'm just wondering, not so much, oh, that's your friend, why wouldn't you say something? But, like,
I would almost imagine he was either asked and said no. Because you have to remember, this is the first time that you're hearing any of this about Drake Bell. This is the big reveal that it was Drake Bell. People
but, like,
that
did
worked
they
with him
know?
Didn't know. I don't think they did.
Maybe he did know, and that's why he
I don't think he
it.
did know. Because you watch it, and Drake Bell says, like, he didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And even after the trial and stuff like that, people still didn't know it was him.
Well, yeah, because he was a minor, so your name is redacted. And I don't even know that you would appear.
So I would imagine that it was a matter of he didn't... Well, he did. He said he did.
Yeah, but you would be, like... In the media, they wouldn't show the minor.
But I thought you meant like in court.
No, he has to show in the courtroom. Because it's also closed because he's a minor.
Because the mom from Drake and Josh also put a statement out of like that she didn't know. So I think it was one of the things that people legitimately did not know.
It's strange. It's like I wouldn't want to say like, oh, so you should have known because you don't know.
That if he was asked, he said no. And I think he's the better for it. Because if he would have been on the show, I think what would have happened was you would have had one of those, not really a gotcha moment, because he wasn't the aggressor, but a sort of gotcha moment where they're talking about this, and then all of a sudden, like...
Yeah, he's like...
ID probably would have fucking sprung it on him instead of him hearing it from Drake Bell.
Oh, right. He would...
ID would have dropped the bomb on him that it was Drake Bell, and then all to get the reaction shot of like, oh, wow, like...
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was a weird documentary.
Yeah, it felt
and like I said,
way short.
It made me feel shitty because after watching an entire episode about what happened to Drake Bell and the fact that you had 3 pedophiles working at Nickelodeon, one of which was legitimately a registered sex offender and then went to work for Disney. And then you just continue to talk about Dan Schneider being an asshole and not, like, outside of being a dick, not really doing anything wrong.
No. From what they said in the show.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Again, I'm only talking about what is shown in the documentary.
Yeah, they don't ever say.
I got to the end and kind of thought, like, I don't really give a fuck about Dan Schneider or anything that he did. Like, was it great? No. But also...
It was...
Like...
Yeah.
This should have been your closer if you were going to really do this. I mean, I get it. You did it at the beginning in the middle because you'll keep watching.
Well...
If we do it at the beginning, you won't watch anymore.
They should have... Because, like, Dan Schneider was responsible for hiring the...
It also felt like, to your point...
The people.
It felt a lot like...
The fire fraud ones.
Well, no.
It felt like a Netflix documentary.
It felt like a lot of build-up for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it felt like a lot of... Here's all these horrible things Dan Schneider is doing.
Yeah.
That the end episode was going to be that he was also a pedophile, or he did this, or he, like... Something happened that was kind of monumental. And the end was just kind of like, Me Too happened, and Nickelodeon said bye, and then he left, and that was kind of the end of it. And it's like, so did he do? But my whole thing.
Well, I guess he was like asking people for massages and stuff.
But again, like,
according
to the documentary, that was kind of like the extent of his sexual harassment. Was asking women to give him massages, which, like, again, not great, but that's not 6 episodes of a true crime documentary.
Yeah, like. What you're building and what you're showing us aren't lining up. Like, I do think I think it's very interesting to see, like, the inner workings of those. Do I think that Nickelodeon is any different from any other network? No. But you could probably go to any...
Well, my point, too, is all the like I said, the Drake Bell episode is a big deal. Mm-hmm. That is what should be talked about.
And it should have been the focus.
The majority of this documentary, you probably could have made about literally a large majority of the showrunners in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Of that time. Maybe not now. I'm sure there's still some. But I'm sure there's less in modern day.
The 90s, I think, were...
Your
you were
80s,
coming off
your
the...
90s.
That's just the way... That's the business.
You're power-hungry men.
Yeah.
And you're like... Oh, this is a show about teenage girls, and the whole writer's room is men because they fired the 2 women, and it's like, again, none of this is great, but, like, it's really overshadowed by pedophilia and, like, legitimate crimes. Whereas what you're presenting me with is just literally, this guy was an asshole.
Yeah, it just...
Like, okay.
Yeah, I just felt like they left... I had a lot of questions at the end, which annoys me. But it's an ID documentary.
And it's one of those true crime documentaries
I think they're notorious for not great ones.
It's a true crime doc that I hate, where you're just like... Your big bombshell thing is one episode. And then every other episode is like... Dan Schneider yelled at me.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I mean, that's terrible, but...
Yeah.
We talked about some other things, and I have more questions over here.
Well, oddly enough, like... 6-episode docuseries, let's say. Or no, 5. 5-episode docuseries. 4 of these episodes are like, man, this guy's a monster. The Drake Bell incident happens, and you kind of make him look like a good guy.
Right, because he says, like, the only person who helped me.
Yeah, the only person who knew was Dan Schneider. Well, knew in terms of, like, the shows in the studio.
And, like, he helped him, and, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very strange thing. It's so strange.
It's really unfortunate.
I would be interested to watch the reunion things, but I'm not like, this is a big to-do for me is to watch these.
I'm always so hesitant because, like, I watch tons of true crime. Tons. And, like, when you get one of these where, like, it's real hyped up that it's going to be something big... They already gave away the big. In their
defense, what was big. But again, it's like every other true crime documentary, or docu-series. This is why I hate docu-series. Because it is 1, maybe 2 episodes that are good. And like, this is
But
This is not only entertaining, but it's very informative. This is what true crime docuseries and documentaries should be doing. And then there's 4 episodes or 5 episodes, depending on how long the series is, of just complete and utter nonsensical bullshit that does not matter.
But what's so annoying, though, is like, yes, what happened to Drake was awful.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess the bombshell was just who it was. But what you're presenting, like, I was really expecting there to be, like, Dan Schneider's reign of terror is what they were, like, leading up to. And the fact that you just took a whole left turn, talked about this guy who did something that's, like, awful, but not surprising.
Yeah. When you did, like...
And then you go back to this guy, and it's like, so now we're going to see something else?
I feel like they kind of bookended the episode about Drake Bell with Dan Schneider. Because he's definitely there in the beginning. Then they do the entire arc of pedophilia, and they end it. One of the ending notes is that Dan Schneider knew that it was Drake Bell and, like, took care of Drake Bell after the fact. So they do it's not like a complete separate episode. They do bookend it with Dan Schneider. But again, you made a docuseries where your big crux and your big promotional thing is pedophilia. But then the majority of your episodes are just like, this guy's super mean.
Well, it was really just, it was marketed, it felt like
to be that
Dan
guy,
Dan Schneider, and
not
it wasn't.
to be that guy, but it like, the majority of that docuseries screams like millennial Gen Z female energy of like, it's more important that this guy really created a toxic workplace for women and he was very misogynistic, and it's like understandable. Again,
but like, why do you,
not great.
But why do you make a whole documentary about that?
But this thing is worse. Like,
well, he was hired by that guy.
Because the two, and that sounded very generalizing what I said about millennial and Gen Z women. I only say that because the 2 women from ID that are in the docuseries, that's kind of what they scream. Is like,
well,
that the dark-haired girl really felt to me like her MO was, I care more about this than I do the fact that Drake Bell was assaulted. Like, I could care less about the pedophilia. I care more about the fact that this fat asshole was really mean to women on set of Nickelodeon shows.
Which isn't great. They just should have. They should have been.
I'm not saying it is, but
if you're making a documentary like that, they should have been 2 separate ones.
Yes.
Because you had 2 very big things going on in there, and one of them you built up bigger than the one that's actually big.
Your docuseries should have been the pedophilia.
Yeah.
Because the little girl and that guy felt like a complete sideline thing. Drake Bell was the majority of the episode, but then you watched the...
Oh, yeah, that girl that didn't want to be on... Yeah.
You watch the first 2 and the last 2, and then it just feels like... Like I said, when we got to the end of it, an episode about pedophiles in children's television felt like a footnote to a showrunner who's an asshole. And it's just a weird thing of like, who thought that made sense?
ID.
Why is it? Excuse me. I don't think it was like, it was probably just produced or whatever. Like, they just slapped their name on it, but someone else made it. I'm not saying it's great. It doesn't, like, make them not liable, but I would imagine that ID does a lot of just like, you made this? We'll slap
I don't know.
I
know they make their own.
They do, but I'm sure they also just buy a lot of them.
Or, like, buy the idea and then they make it.
My next bit of notes here is Scorsese has announced his next 2 movies. Well, Quentin Tarantino also announced his last movie he is no longer making. So he's now moving on to a different project. What that is, I don't know. I didn't look into the articles, but Scorsese has announced his next 2 movies will be his Jesus follow-up, because he did the Last Temptation of Christ. Was that Martin Scorsese?
Oh, maybe.
And he's making another one about Jesus. And
why?
I don't know. His statement was something about, like, something about showing people like organized religion isn't bad. And I'm like, it is, Martin. It is.
It's
You're
okay.
an old fucker who doesn't really understand what modern shit is, and that's a big part of it is part of that.
Strange, but okay.
But he's doing that, and he's also doing a Frank Sinatra biopic.
Ooh.
You say that. Here's where you lose me. It's not been confirmed.
Uh-oh.
But it is Martin Scorsese, and apparently he is eyeing to play the role of Frank Sinatra.
Michael Bublé?
It is Martin Scorsese.
Oh, Brad Pitt?
No.
Oh, who's in all... I don't know who's in all his movies.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh.
No. The answer is no. In no world do I see Leonardo DiCaprio playing Frank Sinatra.
No, I don't know who would, but not
here's,
him.
Here's my question. Because I thought this...
Didn't Frank Sinatra have a really small head, and Leonardo DiCaprio has like a really big head?
I mean, if you're going to be that guy and go with looks, it should be...
Doesn't he have a son?
Ronan Farrow? Whoever Woody Allen's son is, it's clearly Frank Sinatra's son. I think, is it Ronan Farrow?
I don't know.
I'll look him up. I'm pretty sure he looks like Frank Sinatra. Doug Benson just had it up on Instagram the other day, because I guess that's like a reinvigorated conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea who I would cast, but probably not Leonardo DiCaprio.
So I'll give you my pick in a second. But my question was... Oh, it was in his stories. Damn it. You have to look it up. What is more important in terms of a biopic about a musician?
Singing.
The singing or how much they look like that person? That's my big question for stuff like that.
I want to hear you actually sing. I don't want this whole...
Because you
like
do
the
have...
Whitney Houston where it's just her. Elvis where it's just Elvis.
Oh, yeah, the...
Don't do that.
I Want to Dance with Somebody? Is that what
Yeah.
it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where it is...
It's just...
And it's just Whitney Houston audio.
And Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
And
which, in defense...
I understand.
Not saying you're going to get an equal to Whitney Houston. Not saying... I mean, you could have gotten an equal to Elvis. Let's be honest.
There's thousands of them all over the country.
You're not getting an equal to Freddie Mercury.
You have Adam Lambert, he's not... But he can hit the notes.
Yeah, but you don't have... Freddie Mercury, I give the exception to.
Then don't make a movie about him.
Number one, you should not have. Number two, Bohemian Rhapsody shouldn't have been made.
You have to sing.
Fucking dog shit.
You have to sing yourself.
Beside the fact.
They did it and Walk the Line. I mean, June Carter didn't sound that great anyway, so it wasn't hard, but... Walk the Line was the other one.
Yeah,
Charles.
Ronan Farrow. So you will see here, that is Woody Allen.
Okay.
That is Frank Sinatra. That's Ronan Farrow.
Oh, he does look a lot like... Who's his mom?
Mia Farrow.
I would have to see what she looks like to see, like, does he look like her? I thought he married his daughter. Oh, no, sorry, I'm thinking of Woody Allen.
That is Woody Allen.
He married his daughter.
Yes, but he was married to Mia Farrow.
Oh, so that's his actual son.
That's Mia Farrow.
Well, that's her currently. Let's get a... He looks like her.
There.
He looks like her a lot, yeah.
Like Frank Sinatra. But, because I thought, like, Taron Egerton doesn't sound exactly like Elton John, but it worked. But Elton John is also, like, I love Elton John. Probably one of my, easily
he
one
did
of
such
my
a good
top
job,
artists. Elton John is not, like, a brilliant singer.
He just has his own sound.
Exactly. But my point is, like, he's not a Freddie Mercury.
No, but, like, Freddie Mercury had his own sound. It just...
Well, my point is, Freddie Mercury he has his own sound, but you're not going to match that sound. Elton John, you're not going to match it exactly, but his is a bit more obtainable.
Well, because he doesn't sing so high.
Exactly. But I thought Taron Egerton did a very good job. Joaquin Phoenix is very good.
Phenomenal.
In Walk the Line.
So does Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon does. Well, and that begs the question, because Reese Witherspoon does not sound like June Carter Cash.
I don't.
Jessica Chastain does not sound
Yeah, she
like
did a disservice.
Tammy Wynette.
To Tammy Wynette, but it's okay.
Michael Shannon does
she did
not,
a good job. So I think
Michael Shannon does not sound like
George Jones.
George Jones.
George Strait.
George
Jones.
George
Yeah,
Jones.
George.
So it begs the question.
I think you have to be able to like capture.
You need to be able to capture the essence.
It's okay if you don't sound or look exactly like them.
The other thing is, you look.
We got to get their vibe.
You look at that show. I don't. Does Tammy Wynette look like her?
No.
I didn't think so. But he also doesn't like.
No.
Michael Shannon doesn't look like George Jones
No.
either.
It's close. She's close.
Joaquin Phoenix isn't far off from Johnny Cash, but he's not really that close either.
No, but they were close enough.
So it's a weird thing of like.
You just have to be able to like really sell it and like.
But if you ask me, my thought was, I don't know Bublé as an actor.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is.
I think
either.
you asked Seth MacFarlane.
That was my thought. My thought was, if you are making a biopic about Frank Sinatra,
because he can act,
the person you should ask is Seth MacFarlane. Yes, he has done primarily comedy.
but why?
But if it's one thing comedians have proven time and time and time again, is that they are better dramatic actors than most dramatic
But why does that matter? Like, is Frank Sinatra can't be funny? I'm sure he was. Wasn't he funny?
I think it's more a matter of like if your movie is a more serious tone, which I'm sure Martin Scorsese's is, that like you don't want to take a risk.
It can't be the Wolf of Wall Street can't play. Like,
that's a different kind of movie, though.
Yeah, but Leonardo DiCaprio, who played the Wolf of Wall Street, can't play Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, but he also played the guy in Inception, the guy in Shutter Island.
It's the same guy.
Jack and Titanic.
It's the same guy. It's the same guy. He plays the same guy.
Jack and Titanic is not the same.
It's the same guy. He plays the same guy.
But after a certain point.
Oh, well, yeah, not.
I think we talked about this.
Not the Basketball Diaries, and
I talked about this with Ryan.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Whatever age he gets to.
Titanic. So Titanic is the last one, and then whatever he does after that.
Titanic is kind of the turning point.
The Beach, is that what's next? Beaches? The Beach? Where he...
I have no fucking clue. I barely know his filmography. Well, you have you have Titanic or whatever, like around that time. He then
97.
He then switches to like, I'm just going to play the same guy in everything. Then I'm going to do The Revenant, win an Academy Award, and then go right back to kind of doing... Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is different.
He's in that?
Yes. He's the main guy in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I really cared for that movie. Can you tell?
I liked it a lot.
I do want to watch it again.
You should.
Just to see, but I don't.
We should watch again because the anniversary just happened. Is Pulp Fiction?
Oh, I did like that one.
That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna look and see.
But I don't know what made me think of it today. But my pick would be Seth MacFarlane. I think he makes the most sense because again, does he look like Frank Sinatra? No.
He's got two weird ones, and then he's in the beach.
Does he sound like Frank Sinatra? Yes.
So, Gangs of New York is his turning point.
New York. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
You should. Oh, you should see that.
Because then it's just like hitter after hitter. Gangs of New York, Catch Me If You Can, The Aviator, The Departed, Blood Diamond.
The fact that you have not seen more Daniel Day-Lewis movies is a disservice.
I've seen one.
You've seen Lincoln.
I did love
Which is
Lincoln.
phenomenal.
Loved Lincoln.
But like Lincoln, Gangs of New York, There Will Be Blood.
I never really watched a ton of the like gangster, mobster, like all that. Ugh. And heist movies. As much
as I don't care for modern, old, crotchety Martin Scorsese, who's just doing interviews like, comic book movies aren't cinema. They're theme park attractions. Blah, 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 blah. I'm an old director who doesn't like new movies. We get it. You're right up there with Steven Spielberg. Again, I love you, Steven Spielberg, but don't do a whole crusade about, like, Netflix movies shouldn't be nominated for Oscars. And then you sign a multi-year deal with Netflix. Like, you did a whole campaign about, like, fuck Netflix.
Yeah, and then here you are.
And then you bowed down to Netflix. But But
money talks, I guess.
Goodfellas is so good. Casino is so good. The Godfather movies are so good. Like,
well, isn't it just the one? And then, like, the
no,
other
Godfather
two?
1 and Godfather 2 are really good, and people strongly hate Godfather 3.
I knew there was a point where...
The only issue with them is they're long.
Yeah.
We would have to watch them 2 separate days.
I'd maybe have to split up the one. Like, watch the one in 2 parts.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Watch movie
start
1.
It, take an intermission, the next day finish it.
Yeah.
Start the second one, take an intermission, the next day finish it.
There are movies where, like, I know I would like them. There's
good.
no reason why I wouldn't.
So good.
But when I was younger, I wasn't into it.
You have to see movies with young Ray Liotta.
I love Ray Liotta.
You've seen so many older Ray Liotta.
No, I saw him in his peak.
Which was
Karina.
It's
his best movie. It's him and Whoopi Goldberg. His wife dies and he needs a nanny.
I love Whoopi Goldberg.
And at first he hires Joan Cusack, and she crawls into bed with him, and she says, like, if I'm doing everything a wife does, shouldn't I be getting everything a wife gets? She's a nanny. He hired her as a nanny.
I've never seen that movie. I've heard of it.
Obviously, he fires her, and then he hires... And it's set in, like, a time where, like, maybe it's a little, like, taboo that he hires Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah. It's such a...
She's black.
You should watch it. Honestly, you would love it.
I really love it.
It's so good.
There's tons of movies I've never watched, but I really want to. Like, a lot of Ray Liotta movies are up there. I have a notes thing in my phone that is just movies and TV shows to catch up on. A lot of the TV shows I've gotten rid of because I'm like, I'm not going to go back to these. But there's still a ton of movies on there. One of the notes literally just says Al Pacino's IMDb. I also want to go through, like, De Niro's. I want to go through Jack Nicholson's IMDb.
I do want to watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I want to watch that. I want to watch Easy Rider. I did not like As Good as It Gets.
No, because you got to watch the other one.
That was awful.
We watched the one with Helen Hunt.
That's As Good as It Gets.
We want to watch the other one with Diane Keaton.
Yes. Well, they're very different. They're different years.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Oh, shit. It's so good.
It's complicated?
No. He's not in that. That is Diane Keaton and Alec Baldwin.
Oh, that's Alec Baldwin. And what's her name?
Oh, is it Meryl?
Who's the daughter? And It's Complicated. She's so hot. She's also in The Whole 9 Yards, I think. Oh, fuck. What's her name?
That's not it.
What you got?
It's Complicated. Here it is. Lake Bell? Rita Wilson?
This might not be what I'm thinking of.
No, you're thinking of...
I mean, Lake Bell is super hot, too, but...
You're thinking of the one with Diane Keaton, where it's Jack Nicholson and he has a heart attack, and he's dating the daughter. They're having sex.
This is not what I'm thinking of.
He has a heart attack.
I'm thinking of the Diane Keaton one.
That's
Meryl Streep.
It's... What's her name? She's in...
I do want to see that, though. Great cast.
Oh, shit.
Steve Martin and Meryl Streep.
You've never seen it?
No.
I've seen it several times.
Look at when that came out and look at how old I was. You think I was really...
No, what's it called?
It's not As Good as It Gets.
No, it's not. Book Club? No.
Book Club was good. I did like that movie.
No. Something's Gotta Give. It's Amanda Peet.
There it is. Love her. So hot.
Amanda, she's in Saving Silverman.
Is she also in... Let me see her face.
She's in Saving Silverman.
Yeah, she's in The Whole 9 Yards. In The Whole 10 Yards.
Mm-hmm.
Great movies.
The
reason that Bruce Willis is in Friends.
Something's Gotta Give is... It's a good one.
But yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice for not seeing more.
I know, it's because at the time, like when I was younger, I really only watched like comedy movies.
And again, look at the time those movies came out. As much as I love the cast,
yeah, like
I had no interest in watching a Steve Martin, Meryl Streep rom-com.
They're what's her name? Something Myers.
Stephanie Myers?
No.
That's a girl who did Twilight, I think.
Diane
also
Keaton.
Meyer.
It's like Diane Keaton is in like all of her movies. Nancy Myers.
Nancy Myers.
She's got like so it's complicated. Something's got to give. Like they're all her.
Yeah.
The Holiday, something's got to give. What Women Want, The Parent Trap.
Never saw The Holiday either.
Home Again, The Intern, It's Complicated. Something's got to give. What Women Want, Father of the Bride.
I did see Father of the Bride. I did see What Women Want.
Good for you.
Not confident I didn't see that in the theater. For some
It's not
reason.
good.
No, I'm not saying it is.
That's one of those movies that did not age well.
No, but no one else.
Because it's what, Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt?
And Helen Hunt. I forget how like big of a career she had.
Helen Hunt?
Yeah. All I ever think of is Twister. And then I'm like, were you in anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah, something's got to give. Or not something's got to give. As good as it gets.
I mean, Twister is her peak. Probably not. I think she was in that show with Paul, what's his name? Who was
Paul Reiser?
on Stranger Things.
Yes, she was in that show.
I forget what it was called.
Helen Hunt. Her top 3 are
Twister.
As Good as It Gets,
Ew.
Twister, and Mad About You.
Yeah, that's the show. There it is.
Let's see if she's got anything else. This is all like very new. I've never heard of any of it. 2019, good lord. I've never heard of Soul Surfer. 2011.
And she must play the mom.
Yeah, Sherry Hamilton.
I own that movie, I think.
Oh, good for you.
Not that great. I mean, the story is incredible, but...
What Women Want. Castaway. Forgot she's in
Oh,
that
yeah,
movie.
because she's in, like, 5 minutes in the beginning and 5 minutes at the end.
Pay It Forward.
Oh!
I think my mom watched that movie.
Oh, God. That's right up there with Christmas Shoes. It's so sad.
With Kevin Spacey.
Oh, my God. No. No. I'm not here for that.
Rated PG-13.
For what? Did they say shit one time?
Twister, The Simpsons, one episode of The Simpsons. As Good as It Gets. Friends. She was in one episode of Friends. A movie called Kiss of Death with Nicolas Cage.
Why didn't she come back with Nicolas Cage to do National Treasure?
Yeah, there's not anything. Mr. Saturday Night, the Billy Crystal movie.
Oh, she's oh no, she's not. I was like, is she when Harry Met Sally? But she's not.
No, that's
Meg Ryan.
Yes, great movie.
Another one that had Helen Hunt plays more of like the tomboy girl, but I feel like she was like the hot actress at the same time as
Peggy Sue Got Married.
I've heard of that, but I've never seen it.
Neither have I. I've heard of it, but yeah, she's not really in anything before Trancers, which there's like 3 of these movies, and she's in all of them. I've heard of it. Sounds familiar, but
It's like a scary movie.
let's find out. Trancers, PG-13. A gruff bounty hunter travels back in time to 1980s Los Angeles to stop a twisted criminal who can transform people into zombie-like creatures.
Oh, well, yeah. There's a lot happening.
Starring Tim Thomerson, Helen Hunt,
I can't believe a man named
Art
Tim
LaFleur,
Thomerson. That guy,
who you know.
Tim Thomerson, isn't like a leading man in Hollywood.
He may have been at the time of this movie. Pete Scrum.
Huh.
But anyways, yeah, I would cast Seth MacFarlane in that role.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah, that would be a really good one.
There's a new, I think it's a show about, it's a prequel for the Transformers.
Oh, God.
Chris Hemsworth is the star. On his Instagram.
Which Hemsworth is he?
Thor.
Whoa.
He shared, it's animated. So he shared the trailer on his Instagram. Tons of the comments were animated, don't care for it, did not want an animated movie. Tons of positive ones, like this is the first Transformers, it might be a movie, to do it properly because there's no people in it.
Oh.
And then there's tons of positive things. There's also tons of people who are like, I did not want an animated movie. Nobody asked for this. But then there's tons, and I don't understand why we have turned this corner. There's tons of people. Why is it so campy? Why are there so many jokes? I was expecting like a serious like prequel movie about the war on whatever the fuck planet they're supposed to be from. I don't fucking know. Between the Autobots and the Decepticons.
Because that's not what people want.
This and that. And I'm like, why as like comic book movie people have we turned this corner where now we want everything to be super dark and super serious and ultra fucking emo and depressing and like...
To keep kids out.
I just don't get it.
Because all these bros are upset that they go see their, like...
Like, Thor Love and Thunder was... Ooh, and I'm like, that movie was okay. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing, but it also wasn't the best.
But, like, why...
And everyone creamed their jeans for Robert Pattinson's The Batman, and I'm like, this movie fucking sucks. I understand that this is the whole, like, this is how comic accurate Batman should be, and it's like, this movie
Why
is
did
depressing
it take
shit.
300 Batman movies to get a comic accurate Batman?
Also, I don't give a shit what anybody says. You're not getting a better Batman than Michael Keaton or Christian Bale. It's not happening.
And how is that one not serious enough for you? Those movies are terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Well, this movie is not just serious. It's dark. Like...
The Dark Knight's not dark enough?
No, visually. Not in tone.
Oh.
It is visually drab and dreary. It's like Seattle. It's fucking raining
Why would I
all
want to
the
watch
time.
that? Why would I want to watch that?
And like when people describe the Batman as emo, that's what it is. That movie is emo as shit. Everything is drenched in either red lighting or it's super fucking dark. Everybody's in the shadows, and it's like, I get that Batman was like this dark noir comic, but like no one wants this. This movie wasn't good. Even if it was...
I want to be able to see.
I can get past the fact that it's dark visually. I can't get past the fact, like, I watched it. And this movie felt like it was ending at least 4 times. I felt like, oh, here we go. We're going to end it here. We might set up for a sequel. We might not. But we're going to end it here. And then it kept going. And going.
Did Robert Pattinson say, like, I'm not doing this anymore?
No, they are doing it.
Oh.
They're doing a second one.
Oh.
And people are already pissed because James Gunn took over the DCU and everyone thought, oh, here we go. This is the big reboot. We're finally going to do it right. Everything's going to be connected. We're going to do what Marvel did, but we're going to do it properly this time. We're not going to try to do our own thing and then try to do what Marvel did 5 years in, even though Marvel was already doing it for 6 years or whatever. James Gunn just got a hard reset. Everything that's already happened doesn't exist anymore. Forget about it. Whatever. Meanwhile, he's like, oh, the Robert Pattinson Batman and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker and I think like the Harley Quinn TV show, the animated one, I forget. There's all kinds of shit.
They're in their own timeline
that exist within the DC Elseworld universe.
That's enough.
And then James Gunn's Superman movie is the hard reboot of the DCEU. And I'm like, no. That's
too complicated.
You didn't learn from before. You can't have a universe of movies that are all connected and then a separate universe where you're also releasing movies with the same characters. It doesn't fucking work. Because people watch it and they're like, wait a minute, why is this guy Batman, but this guy is also Batman?
Yeah. You know what I will never watch again? A Batman movie.
I also don't understand why
I'm also done with Spider-Man.
Why is it so hard to... Okay, my Superman is the hard reboot. Well, then when you get to the point of making a Justice League movie, why don't you just have Robert Pattinson in it as Batman?
Why are they making another Superman movie? Why? That's enough. That's enough.
Because we're rebooting the DCU.
That's it. It's enough.
Because Warner Brothers...
How many Superman movies have there been?
What blows my mind is Warner Brothers is willing to spend the money to completely reboot the DCU in a time where people are complaining that
there's too many.
There's too much superhero stuff and comic book fatigue has set in. I don't think that's at all true, but that's what people were saying. That's what the media was trying to push on people.
Well, because they probably
But
saw
odd that
the
you're doing
fans
that.
don't.
But at the same time, you fully made and edited and finished a Batgirl movie that you will not release to the public. You fully made and
that
finished.
seems very strange.
You fully made and finished that Wile E. Coyote movie that people said was hysterical, that we're able to see it. We're not going to release it.
That's so weird.
So you're just making movies and then throwing them in the trash can. Meanwhile, you're
Yeah.
like, we have plenty of money. Don't worry about it. We have plenty of money to give David Zaslav his $30 million paycheck or whatever. But I don't know. I just don't understand the whole... Or I don't understand that whole thing of everything has to be so dark and broody.
I will watch Joker too, though, because I did like Joker.
Did you see the trailer for that?
No. It didn't come out today?
No, it's been out.
Oh.
It looks wild.
The first one was wild.
But in a different way. Because this is a musical.
What?
But it looks... What I'm going to guess... So remember how at the end of... Spoilers if you haven't seen Joker.
It came out long enough ago.
Yeah. I don't care. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But I mean, like...
I'm not going to just plow into it and then get called a dickhead.
No.
Spoilers if you haven't seen it. You should have by now, but...
But by now, like, yeah.
This is your big disclaimer.
Yeah.
So remember how in the first movie you get to the end and you find out that, like, everything you've been seeing with him and Zazie Beetz didn't happen?
Yeah.
The trailer for Joker 2 looks like that's the entire movie.
Oh, like you're inside his mind?
Like, the trailer for Joker 2 is a musical, but it looks like the music that you're seeing is almost like this is not what's happening in real life.
Oh, is it like a Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist situation where, like, he hears the music and no one else does?
Well, no, because it's him and Lady Gaga. She's playing Harley Quinn.
Oh.
Which I'm surprised there hasn't been more backlash by that they changed her backstory, but whatever. I don't care.
I don't know where her backstory is.
So her backstory So she first appears in Batman the Animated Series. And all of her iterations, her backstory is that she is a nurse at Arkham Asylum.
Oh.
Or she is his therapist, I'm sorry. She is the Joker's therapist in Arkham Asylum.
Oh, I did, yes.
Who is eventually driven crazy and falls in love with the Joker.
Does he drive her crazy?
Essentially.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I do don't quote me on any of that. I
do remember that now.
I didn't watch Batman the Animated Series as much as I wanted to. Great show. From what I've seen. I haven't seen the whole episodes, but
that is...
I started it when it came to...
So what are they changing it to?
Prime, maybe? I don't know. She's also a patient.
Oh.
At Arkham. I'll show you the trailer when we're done. It's not long. But yeah. There's that stuff. On the topic of more recent things. We recently watched the new half-hour Bluey that came out.
I mean, we've watched it more than once.
We've watched it more than once because Tony liked it. We also liked it.
Right.
There was an article on Facebook that I want to see what our views, where they line up.
I like how when he wants to watch it, he's like, "Can we watch the long Bluey?"
Can we watch the long Bluey?
I think he likes that it's longer.
Stop it.
I think he likes that it's longer.
Probably. It's a whole episode.
Well, and he's like getting to the age where like 7 minutes.
So
like he wants more.
This is Ranker.
Oh, God.
15 emotional Bluey episodes that always make parents cry.
Baby Race.
So we'll go from 15.
The show.
And work our way up. And we'll see.
The one where Bandit's all sad.
We'll see if our viewpoint lines up.
The one where Chili is the sun.
Get out of here.
I'll always be with you.
Sleep?
Yeah.
So 15 is bin night.
Oh, why? Because Bingo's getting bullied.
The episode centers on the parents, so that it gives you the reason people cry. The episode centers on the parents spending quality time with their kids while doing mundane tasks. Seeing that type of meaning infused into everyday life can be tear-jerking on its own.
What?
But the part that really stands out is when Bingo talks about her classmate Banjo. Although Bingo is mostly confused about Banjo calling her a boo-boo head.
A bobo head.
Bobo head, there it is. She's genuinely upset that he called her arm stubby. If you have a childhood history of bullying, or if your child is going through something similar, this one might sting.
I could...
Army.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, not for me. I understand.
Depending on your circumstances, 2 elements of this episode might get to you. The first involves Rusty's family. His dad is in the military, which means he's separated from his family for long stretches of time. So, if you're in a military family, this will hit home.
It's because his dad comes home.
The second involves Jack, who displays symptoms of ADHD. Whether you see your childhood self in him or shades of your own child, it can bring to mind some painful experiences.
Yeah.
Flat Pack. If you want to cry happy tears, this is a good one to watch. When Chili and Bandit put aside their frustration and focus on their children's
It's a cartoon. I'm not
play.
telling a cartoon dog how to live my life.
I'm not taking advice from a cartoon dog.
That was so meta. I loved it.
They're moved by the everyday but also miraculous fact that they created two living beings together. Putting together furniture is nothing in the face of something
That's
like
not the tear-jerking moment in that. It's at the very end where she's like, what do I do now?
Well, they're saying that the tears come because, like, the 2 of them are squabbling about putting that swing together. And then eventually they stop and just watch their children play and whatever. Yeah, the end is when she dies. Well, Bingo's not. Bluey's dead.
Right. Come sit.
Yeah.
I mean, number 1's got to be Baby Race, right?
Handstand.
What?
Even though nobody is intentionally snubbing or ignoring Bingo, it's still painful to see her repeatedly try to get attention. It's also heartwarming to see her finally getting to connect with someone at the end. At no point in that episode did I feel like crying.
Because we're second children.
Yeah, but that's still...
It just seems very normal.
But no part of that is, like, tear-inducing.
No.
I'm downvoting that.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
Curry Quest. It's never easy for parents to leave their kids, especially when it's for a long period of time. Bandit has to go on a business trip that lasts for 6 weeks, and Bingo is really upset. If you've ever had to separate from your own child, you might recognize Bingo's reaction. Also, the framing of the characters as heroes for doing things that they don't want to do, whether it's going away for work or squaring up with a magpie, is relatable and sweet.
Okay.
Camping.
Oh, is that the one with Jean-Luc?
Bluey's disappointment with her friend's departure is hard to watch. She has no guarantee of ever seeing him again and feels a real sense of loss. Sadly, meeting friends and not being able to keep them is a common life experience, but the 2 do see each other again in a flash forward that can easily evoke happy tears.
I could see that.
Yeah. Space. It's rough watching a kid process trauma. Mackenzie genuinely thought his mother had left him behind. No parent wants to imagine their own child going through that.
What?
Especially a parent like Mackenzie's mother, who would never abandon her child. This is the episode where it's all about Mackenzie. We definitely watched it. And she, like, goes through the tire thing at school. And it's a weird, like, almost like a flashback.
Oh, yeah.
And they permanently cement that, like, Calypso was the greatest character on the show, because I'm pretty sure it's Calypso that, like, brings him out of it.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember.
Rug Island.
What did they give you?
In the final moment of the episode, Bandit sees his ship and decides he has to leave Rug Island, a clear symbol for the simple and joyful world of childhood. Sure, they're just playing a game, but it reminds him of how fleeting his time is with his little girl really is. And he also misses his own childhood. When Bingo gives him one of the pens from their game, he says she's given him everything, meaning he still has access to the world of imagination. If your own children have brought you that kind of magic, it'll be hard not to shed some happy tears. Number 7, Baby Race.
Whoa. That needs to be way higher.
7 should be way
maybe
higher.
Maybe you just saw something you wanted.
No.
Or maybe she just saw something you wanted.
That's not it.
You're not a mom. The whole point at the end of that episode is Bluey walks because she's trying to get to Chili.
No, the whole point of
You're doing great.
That's sob-inducing.
That's not it, though. It's the very end.
It is. I'm not saying you can't cry at the end, but what's making people bawl their eyes out?
Well, sure, because it's that notion of, like, everybody wants to hear that.
The struggles of going through life as a new mom.
But
and having another mother tell you, like,
right.
You're doing great.
But I think the sleeper is, why did I walk in the kitchen?
Number 6 is Granddad. I could see that.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even as an adult, you still need your parents. This episode makes that painfully clear when Chili begs her father to take care of himself because she still needs him around. Her mother has already passed, which makes things even sadder. There's also a sense of nostalgia that can make you get all misty-eyed. At the end of the episode, Chili
I forgot about that episode.
And her dad reminisce about her childhood. If you're an older adult, you might also have some feelings about Granddad's age diminishing his capabilities.
That was a good one.
Number 5 is the show.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of parts in there that could.
Number 4 is Copycat. That's with the bird, when the bird dies.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Okay, finished Ultimate. I don't need your fucking ad. I guess, should I read the tier things? Because I didn't.
I think we all know when you would cry at the show.
Well, if you didn't watch the thing.
I have a good cry.
During the play, Bingo pretends to be pregnant.
Oh, come on.
To be a pregnant Chili by stuffing a balloon under her shirt. When the balloon pops, Bandit immediately reaches for Chili's hand. Why did he expect her to be upset? Because she'd previously had a miscarriage. This was confirmed by Bluey writer Joe Brum in Isabel Broderberg's book, Hard to Bear, investigating the science and silence of miscarriage. This is a sad subject for anyone, but it will hit harder for anyone who had to deal with it themselves.
But I think there's a lot of points in that episode that could...
Probably not. Because outside of that moment, it is sort of a lighthearted episode.
Well, no, she's crying at the beginning.
Yeah, but she spills... She spills, like, the breakfast in bed or whatever.
Yeah, I guess it's not, Like,
it's not...
Yeah. That's the big one, yeah.
Copycat. Everybody has to learn about death at some point, but that doesn't make it any less painful to watch a child grapple with the concept. Bluey tries bargaining about it, asking her father if he's sure there's no way for the budgie to survive. When she gets home from the vet, she immediately runs into her mother's arms. Also, I watched, to go off on a tangent about animals dying, I watched the clip on TikTok of Jon Stewart talking about his dog dying.
Oh, God.
Whoo! Holy shit. That is a testament, I think, to how much animals affect people. Because he is, like, going through it.
Did he just die?
It was very recently. He's talking about how they were doing a charity thing for this no-kill shelter. And he's like, they brought out this, like, almost... And this is, like... So if the clip is this long, this is here. Mm-hmm. Where he's like, my kids and I did this charity for this no-kill shelter. It's this. People clap because of the name. Like, he's like, yeah, they do great work, whatever. And he was like, to help promote it, to help whatever. I forget what he says. They bring out this nearly 1-year-old pit bull, and, like, immediately he just fucking loses it. And he's like, he's got the papers in his hand, and he's like, I'm sorry, I thought I was going to get further than this. And, like, people kind of laugh. But it was a nearly 1-year-old pit bull that was hit by a car, lost one of its legs.
Aww. And then was surrendered.
They put the dog in his lap. Dipper? Is that the name of the dog? I think it was Dipper. And he just tells the story about, like, how she was she was always at the Daily Show set, and he worked there, and she would wait backstage for him to get done every night, and he met presidents, and he met kings and dignitaries, and, like, it was a very emotional speech. And then every episode they end with, and now your moment of zen. And he announces that the dog died. And then at the very end, it's here's your moment of zen. And it's literally just a home video of him playing with the dog in the snow. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is
Was the dog old?
devastating. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he says the most devastating line in his speech is, I think it's a boy. I'm pretty sure it's a boy dog. He was old and he was ready, but I wasn't. And I'm like, Jesus.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But at least he was an old dog. Nothing happened.
Number 3 is Sleepy Time.
I told you.
That's This is one of the most beautiful episodes in the entire series.
Well, I bet you number 1 will be the new one.
It gets its message across in a surreal, dreamlike way. One particularly heart-tugging moment occurs when Bingo lets her stuffed bunny go off to join the other bunnies in a cuddly ring around Saturn. It's a toy, but the love she shows reflects the love her own mother shows her. Even as Bingo works towards gaining independence, the moment when she's alone and shivering on a tiny planet by herself is painful, but that pain is soothed when she sees a representation of her mother, saying she'll always love her and be there for her, even if Bingo can't see her. Oh, Christ, I forgot about this episode. Number 2 is onesies.
Oh, yeah.
The episode implies that Brandy, Chili's sister, can't have children despite desperately wanting to, which is why she stayed away from her sister's family for years. If you've had to deal with infertility or any circumstances making parenthood difficult to achieve, this episode is going to be painfully relatable. Even if you haven't, because we didn't, thankfully.
It was.
The reveal is devastating. Because the reveal is literally like...
You look like...
Well, there's clearly something happening. She opens the door. The kids come to the door. Yeah. The kids clearly have not seen her in years.
But they know who it is.
Well, they know who she is, but they don't They were clearly babies when they saw her last.
Yeah.
So they're like, and Brandy says like, "Oh, you look just like," and Chili's like, "You." Mm-hmm. And there's like a long pause.
Yeah, and then we were like, "Oh my God, is that really Bingo?"
Yeah, we thought the twist was like, "Oh, Bingo is not Chili."
Yeah, like she had a baby and couldn't raise it, so Chili did it. We were like, whoa. Well, you went too far.
Well, we almost thought, like, are we getting super deep here? Like, was the miscarriage post Bluey? And, like, her sister had Bingo, and it was, like, are we going that far into this?
Yeah.
But, so we thought that. She gives the kids onesies, hilarious. Bingo embodies the onesie that she is in as a cheetah? Leopard.
It's some sort of cat.
I think it's a cheetah. It's a cheetah. Because Bingo, or Bluey wants the cheetah one. But she's like, I only got these, and that's what fits. So Bluey is a zebra. But the joke that Brandy doesn't know is that when the girls put onesies on, Bingo embodies the onesie that she is in. She is one with the onesie. So it's just her terrorizing the whole family as a cheetah. Her taking down Bandit is hysterical. And the scenes where Bandit, like... Dad, you have to help. And he's like, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm dead. And he's just like on his phone. Hysterical. I love it. But there's a point in the episode where it's Brandy, Chili, and Bluey out in the backyard. And there is tons of dialogue between Brandy and Chili throughout the entire episode with like, why haven't you been around? Like, there's a lot of back and forth that doesn't really ever hammer it home. Brandy then sacrifices herself to Cheetah Bingo, while Bluey and Chili run away. They go into the bathroom and hide in the bathtub, and Bluey asks Chili why Aunt Brandy doesn't come around. And Bluey really wanted... Cheetahs are now her favorite animal. Last time Brandy saw them, zebras were. But cheetahs are her new favorite animal, so she really wanted the cheetah onesie. So Chili then explains to Bluey, you remember how you really wanted the cheetah onesie more than anything in the world? Well, there's something that Aunt Brandy wants more than anything in the world, but she can't have it. And the dialogue is not that devastating.
No, but
it is when they match it with...
Yeah.
So she's talking. What you're seeing is Bingo is attacking Brandy by essentially just like, she's on top of her, Brandy is laughing, it almost seems like she's kind of tickling her.
Yeah, they're like wrestling.
And then when Bingo, now that Brandy is dead, Bingo runs away, and Brandy like follows her, and the camera is now here, and you just watch her kind of like put her arms down, So you're hearing that dialogue as you are watching Brandy literally reach for a child.
Yeah.
And it's just like I said, we thankfully did not have any issues. But hearing that and seeing that visual
it was still,
hit me hard.
Yeah, it was still.
When
it was like subtle enough.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
Well, like I said, I think it's because you don't know what to expect. They give you that thing at the beginning, which almost made it seem like we thought, like, oh, is Bingo not their biological daughter? So, like, you don't know what to expect. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, she can't have kids. And it's like, holy shit.
It's like, whoa.
Number 1 is The Sign.
Yeah.
If you're considering a life change or nervous about a decision, the catharsis at the end of the episode may have you sobbing sympathetically over the final montage. After Bandit finally yanks the for sale sign out of the yard and throws it into the cul-de-sac, Chili runs out and tackles him out of relief. The family enjoys a meal together in the furnitureless house, and the joy they feel just being together is overwhelming.
Tony was only concerned about why they didn't have any furniture.
Well, how are they going to eat? What about all their furniture?
Yeah, where's all their stuff? It's like, well, they'll bring it back.
He was very concerned about it.
He loved that episode, though.
I'm trying to think of other ones that weren't on that list. I mean, well, I don't know. The depressed bandit one is strange. I get it. But I don't know that people are crying at that one. Baby Race was on there. I would agree with that one.
Yeah, Baby Race should have been
I'm just trying to run through in my mind. I don't think there's any other ones that I can think of that weren't on there.
No. I don't really remember.
If I look through the list of the episodes, they're like, oh yeah, that one. But I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember. This other one I have saved that I really want to talk about. Because it's not what I thought it was until I clicked into it. And I only saved it for one. Well, a couple, I'm sure. So 19 alternate movie... I mean, I don't have to do all of them. Because we didn't watch all these movies, I'm sure. 19 alternate movie endings that are so good, they should have made the final cut. Now, with that title, I thought these were legitimately alternate endings to movies. We asked members of the BuzzFeed community to rewrite movie endings.
Ew.
They didn't find 100% satisfying. Here are the amazing alternative endings. So we're not going to go through all of them, obviously, because number 1 is Harry Potter. I didn't see that movie.
Nope.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I saw all of them until the final 2. I don't think I saw. I know I didn't see them, but I've seen the other
any
ones.
of them.
The Godfather, which
you saw, but I didn't.
Yeah, so we'll save it. Did you see I Am Legend?
Mm-mm.
Good. It wasn't a good movie. I'm going to come back to number 4.
Oh.
Number 5 is Onward. For the Pixar film Onward, I would have liked...
I didn't watch that whole movie.
I would have liked to have seen Ian meeting his deceased dad when he briefly comes back to life. Because remember, his dad comes back to life on the thing.
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh, I did. Us.
Oh.
Great movie. Great movie. Adelaide knowing the entire time that she was the real Tethered just didn't make sense to me. Given her behavior throughout the movie, I would have had the reveal come not as a flashback, but as the audience just going back in time to see what we didn't get to see before. We know the truth, but it was strongly implied that Adelaide had completely repressed the memory because of trauma, so the characters had no idea who she really was.
That movie was too much for me.
It was a great movie.
I will never watch it again.
I will.
No.
I loved it.
I don't think I would watch this as...
Get Out?
Get Out, yeah. Not This Is Us. They were too much.
Oh my god, they were so good. You have to watch Nope.
Once. I could get... Maybe I can...
You have to watch Nope. You have to watch all the Jordan Peele movies at least once.
I could get through it once. Us was horrifying
I think Nope... Nope was his least scary of the 3.
Okay.
To me.
Because Get Out was not scary till towards the end.
Well, Get Out is a weird one because the trailer is horrifying. And the movie is not that scary. It gets suspenseful.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of tension, but like the trailer made it seem like it was a real like horror fest.
Yeah.
And Us was scarier, but again, I think the trailer for Us, because we saw the trailer for Us before we saw Vice.
Yeah.
In theaters, so we watched that trailer, and that trailer was intense. That was the movie with the lady had the kids, and she's like, "Oh my god, why would they show this before a Disney?" Because she thought they were seeing Mary Poppins too.
We're like, "You're down the hall."
And we're like, "Lady, holy shit, your kids are fucking traumatized. What your kids just experienced was probably the equivalent of my mother taking me into Alien Encounter."
Is that the one where he screamed? No, that was the dinosaur movie.
Yeah, that was the dinosaur movie with Adam Driver.
That was embarrassing.
It was. It was hilarious. I was cackling with laughter.
Thank God it was not a full theater. That was awful.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Never saw it.
Oh, don't. So here's the ending. Here's the ending shot. So we've established now in this movie, what you're not seeing here is that, so Force Awakens, Rey's family is a big deal. Last Jedi, your family doesn't mean shit. Your lineage does not at all matter. Rise of Skywalker, sorry, we lied. Your grandfather is Emperor Palpatine. And the big joke is there is literally a line of dialogue that that Poe says, which is, somehow Palpatine returned. That's a legitimate line of dialogue from this movie. So Palpatine is once again the big bad. Rey and Kylo Ren team up. Spoiler alert, Kylo Ren is dead. Horrible decision. But this is the final shot of the movie. So she goes back to Tatooine, I'm pretty sure. This random old woman with her space horse. There's been no one for so long. Who are you? Her answer is Rey. Her follow-up question is, Rey who? They then show you a Force ghosts of Princess Leia and her brother, or not Han Solo, her brother Luke Skywalker. Now,
what?
These are her parents? This Force ghost thing looks like these are her parents. These are not brother and sister. You have presented this...
Well, we already saw that.
But the way you presented this, of her, like, looking over here, and then it's the two of them standing the way they're standing, this is her parents. Like, this is so fucking dumb. But then she responds with, Rey Skywalker. That's the end of the fucking movie. I audibly booed when I saw it in theaters with Andrew. Audibly booed. Awful. Just absolutely awful. Her whole, like, when she garners up the energy to defeat Palpatine, you hear voiceover of, I think it's Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. I think Sam Jackson made, like, they brought back all these people to do voiceover. And then she garners, like, all...
Weren't they all dead?
No, not all of them. Well, the majority of them are, I think. But the point is, the line of dialogue that I think was in Force Awakens, maybe? It's in one of the other movies. Is that, like, the Force, the energy, something like, of all the Jedi who came before you flows through you.
Oh.
And that's how she, like, garners the power to defeat Palpatine. But then at the end, you only show Luke and Leia as Force ghosts. And I'm like, the actors are still alive. You couldn't have filmed anybody else as a goddamn Force ghost? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
One of those actors isn't still alive.
Yeah, that's clearly Billy Lord as a Force ghost. Playing Princess Leia, which is Carrie Fisher's daughter. But my point is, yeah, at the time they filmed that, she was not alive.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, Ewan McGregor is still alive. Liam Neeson is still alive.
Yeah.
Sam Jackson is still alive. You have a Yoda puppet.
You could have tried a little harder.
Like, and I think I put that somewhere else, and someone was like, oh, well, she doesn't know them. And I'm like, then why would she have heard their voices in the voiceover?
Yeah.
To say that you can't see a Force ghost because, oh, you never met him in real life? What the fuck rule is that?
And then how do you know what they sound like?
But it's more like, so you're telling me the Force only works
If you
as a Jedi? I'm like, I have to meet.
So they're just memories. The Force ghosts are just memories.
Well, then you bring up the whole question of, like, why do you see fucking Han Solo out? No, you didn't see that. So in this movie, the beginning of the movie is still Rey versus Kylo Ren. And there's a fight scene where it's the two of them fighting each other on, like, this crashed TIE fighter. There's fucking water. I don't know. It's whatever the planet is they're on. Well, then she leaves, so it's just Kylo Ren. When he turns around, and who is he talking to? His father, Han Solo. But the big thing is, Han Solo did not believe in the Force. He was not a Jedi. So how are you there? And it's him. It's not like this Mark Hamill with, like, we put a filter on you and made you look like you're see-through. No, it is fully Harrison Ford. Like, well, I can reach out and touch you.
That's not a Force ghost. That's just him talking to his dad.
Well, people were like, oh, it's...
They're showing.
I think the whole thing was that, like, the theory was that during the fight, he gets knocked out, and, like, this is almost like a dream sequence kind of thing. I forget what the logic was behind it, but I'm like, you can't do that. In a film series where you have established that people can come back as ghosts, you can't just bring somebody back.
Yeah.
He's a full-blown person. Like, that's not how this shit fucking works.
That doesn't work.
It was just so strange. The Force is all about balance, not one side triumphing over the other. I would have had Ben Solo live and use his bond with Rey to balance the Force again, using the gray Jedi teachings, which I'm pretty certain, not to get super dorky, but when this movie was coming out, there was a lot of talk about that happening. I'm pretty sure there was some shit with, like, the gray Jedi, where George Lucas was like, none of that is fucking canon. Like, stop trying to project that onto these movies, because that doesn't actually exist. That's some internet shit that someone made up. I don't know that for a fact. I didn't watch Clone Wars and all the fucking animated TV shows, and I watched the movies, and that was about it.
Yeah.
The farthest show I've gotten is The Mandalorian. And did I start? I don't know. No, I think that was still The Mandalorian. Oh, and I watched the Book of Boba Fett, which is just like whatever Mandalorian 2.5. Like, they were.
Yeah, in the middle.
Because it's the Book of Boba Fett. You didn't watch it.
I didn't watch any of it.
So it's, let's say, 6 episodes. The first 2 are Boba Fett and I forget her name. And then episode 3, The Mandalorian comes in, and then it is just like Boba Fett's there, but it's essentially just more episodes of The Mandalorian. Weird. And I'm like, weird that you gave this guy his own show and then just said, fuck you in episode 3.
We like this guy. Go back over here.
Like Pedro Pascal. Ushering forth a new era of Jedi who are comfortable with both the dark and light inside them, and who don't have to live in fear of being perfect. The Stormtroopers would have rebelled, inspired by Finn's actions, and the First Order and Resistance would have called a truce and built a new Second Republic. We didn't watch To All the Boys, P.S. I Still Love You. The Notebook.
What are you going to rewrite that ending for?
It was us.
They did. Yeah, that story you were telling us.
I'd rewrite the end of The Notebook. I think the twist that the old man was Noah and the old woman was Allie was a little too predictable for the emotional gut punch that the film tried to pull off. I wish the old man had turned out to be Lon.
Who?
James Marsden.
Why?
Allie never left him to be with Noah, and they lived out their days as husband and wife. During her dementia, knowing that she was never truly happy with him, Lon made the ultimate sacrifice to love and allowed Allie to believe that she married Noah and had the fairy tale life she always wanted with him.
So why is he telling her that story? He's telling his demented wife a false story?
Yes. So what they're pitching is that... So the pitch that they are presenting is you and I got married.
And you knew I was in love with someone else?
You were in love with someone else, but you stayed with me and we got married. We are now decades older. You have dementia. I'm aware that you were never happy with me and that you wanted to be with this person. So I am in your final hours, days, whatever it is, giving you the life that you wanted, essentially.
No.
That's for their pitch.
Did you ever read a Nicholas Sparks book? Because it's no shocker that at the beginning of the movie, the old farts are the people who are in this movie. What kind of dumbass watched The Notebook and didn't know that those cute old people were the young people you're watching?
It's so funny because
And if you tell me you like that movie and that you don't think the worst line in cinematic history is, I wrote you every day for a year. I wrote you 365 letters. Thank you so much. Thank you for the clarification. I was wondering just how many you wrote. What?
Well, it makes sense when the way Ryan Gosling delivers it.
And then they run at each other and like they're both have their mouth open like they're gonna bite each other.
Reenacted by Conan O'Brien and Ryan Reynolds.
It's
all the way up to the kiss. They both kiss each other passionately
but they're like,
in the rain.
It's so. I mean, that movie is a tearjerker.
I never saw it.
Well, I just gave you the whole...
No, I'm aware. Let me finish. I didn't see it when it came out. Like, I had no interest in seeing it. I don't know if I've ever seen any other Nicholas Sparks movie. Pretty certain I never have.
Well, once you've seen one, you kind of get the gist.
But they had it on. So my mom, I think my dad, Ace, there's a whole bunch of people, had it on at my parents' house. We weren't doing anything else. I was just whatever. So I just sat down. I didn't even see it from the beginning. I don't know when I came in. That movie ended, and I was fucking sobbing. I was just like, holy shit.
I mean...
Maybe it helped that I didn't see the beginning.
No.
Well, no, because your point is, like, if you would have known it from the beginning. That's kind of their point, is, like, you knew who the old people were from the beginning. Yeah, but I didn't see it from the beginning.
Don't you see the old people, like, sporadically throughout?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But I didn't see it from the beginning. So it could have made me cry harder because I don't know who these people are. Like, I haven't established, like, oh, this is what we're watching.
I don't think so.
I don't know. But that's their pitch.
That's terrible.
That she should have been with James Marsden.
Terrible.
Bend It Like Beckham?
Never saw it. Isn't that based on a true story?
No.
Oh.
Oh, Avengers Endgame. Let's listen to this one. I'd rewrite the ending of Avengers Endgame. Tony just wanted everyone to be safe, so for him to make the ultimate sacrifice was out of character.
What?
We'll get back to that in a second.
I don't want to be here for 3 hours, so let's just leave it at that.
Steve and Thor would have made more sense for that sacrifice because that's within their character arcs. I feel like the writing was ultimately catering to the final Marvel film for Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans rather than the characters we spent 10 years growing to love.
I thought that the whole point of Iron Man is he wanted to die.
Well, I don't know that he wanted to die. That's definitely not the point of Iron Man.
No, but I mean, like, his whole thing was like he knew it was coming.
Well, no, my point is... No. What?
I thought, like, him dying, it was sort of like, yep,
no,
that makes sense.
Well, no, it was predictable, and I don't understand, was way out of character. Did you not see any of the other Avengers movies? Because Avengers 1 literally ends with him, like, he's going to kill himself. I'm in my suit. I'm going to fly this missile up through the portal into space.
That's what I mean.
The portal is going to close, and I'm going to die.
Like, his whole thing is like...
Then that doesn't happen. Then in Iron Man 2, then in Avengers 2, he does a very similar thing.
Like, he's very...
Then
like,
in Infinity War...
Sacrificing.
Everyone kind of gets fucked in Infinity War. But then, like, again... Since, I mean, it is two parts. So you could say the end of Avengers 3, which was Endgame... it's the same thing as the end of the first two Avengers movies. So to say that, like, it's way out of character for him...
Yeah, it doesn't...
That doesn't make any sense. But...
Weird.
That is a very dumb... That's why I stopped when it said that. I'm like, that's not accurate at all. What were you saying, though, about... him wanting to die?
No, like he's constantly like the sacrifice is always there. That like willing, I guess is more of it.
He has severe PTSD after Avengers 1, which is his whole character arc from Avengers 1 to Avengers.
So
Endgame.
like you just sort of knew. That,
well,
like,
the whole point. The other thing that people are missing in terms of the whole like, it's way out of character for him. You just have to go back to the dialogue of Avengers 1. Because he says to Steve Rogers, everything special about you came out of a bottle. Because of the super soldier serum. That's why he is who he is. And his line to Iron Man is something along... Because there's the whole, like, take away that fancy suit of armor and what are you? But there's something along the lines of, like, you're never the guy to make the sacrifice play. Like, you're not the guy to jump on the grenade to save everybody else.
Oh.
And it's like... And then what does he do at the end of that movie? Makes a sacrifice play.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this... My best friend's wedding.
Did you want them to end up together?
Michael doesn't marry Kim or Jules. He realizes that him and Kim will never last in the long run and that Jules is a toxic, horrible person. He leaves and hopefully finds a better, healthier relationship somewhere down the road. Oh, God, happiest season. Abby should have left with John instead of going back to Harper. Harper was an awful girlfriend to Abby and manipulated her. I would have loved to see Abby realize she didn't need someone that toxic in her life and for Harper to still come out to her family. I would have also loved to see Harper make amends with Riley after seeing how awful it felt to lose Abby. I want to desperately rewatch that movie.
I didn't. It doesn't get better.
Because so many people were like, oh, it was so good.
It gets worse, actually.
And I'm like, I don't know. When I watched it, I fucking
hated it. I did watch it again.
I'll definitely have to watch it again. Bridget Jones's Baby? Did you see it?
Yeah.
I assumed you did. When they're taking Bridget to the hospital and they get stopped by the protest, which involves the women Mark defended, I thought for sure the protesters were going to recognize him and help get her to the hospital. This could have been Mark's knight in shining armor moment and would have validated his work and also his dedication to it. Sure. Corpse Bride. Inside Llewyn Davis.
Isn't that based on a true story?
Inside Llewyn Davis?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I loved the movie. I saw it. It's a great movie. I loved the movie Inside Llewyn Davis, but I would have ended that movie a tad bit earlier. Davis impregnated an old girlfriend who bore his child and never met the child or had any contact with the ex. On the way back to New York City, he passed an exit sign showing the town where the ex and child lived. I think the movie should have ended there, making the viewer wonder if he ever stopped there to see his ex and meet his child. The actual ending didn't add that much, other than expose Carey Mulligan's character, which they could have done in an earlier scene, and the appearance of Bob Dylan at the club announcing that music was taking a new turn. The Dylan appearance wasn't crucial. The viewer knew that Davis's career was over regardless of what else happened. Gravity? Didn't see it.
Nope.
Soul? I loved Soul as a whole, but I wish they had shown us who 22 grew up to be or where she was now. It would have been nice to see 22's future. I thought she was going to become a teacher or therapist.
Oh.
That's a valid point.
That's cute.
Didn't see Carol.
Not me either.
But number 4 that I skipped. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oop, too far. Titanic.
Well, it does have an alternate ending.
We all know that Jack should have fit on the door at the end of Titanic.
Okay, stop that.
But, I mean, he should have. But I was hoping throughout the movie that they'd reveal that Rose married Jack, who was living under an alias, so they wouldn't find him and Rose. It killed me when he actually died. So the alternate ending is that he lives, and the two of them get married, but he's living under an alias, so they can't find the two of them.
Why would that matter? Why does he have to live under an alias? Why can't he just survive the Titanic and then they just get married?
Was he a criminal?
No. Why does he have... I don't understand that at all.
I don't know.
Also, you needed...
Well, I don't know.
She would need an alias.
Well, maybe it's both of them.
But she takes... What's your name?
Because it's the heart of the ocean.
Rose Dawson.
Yeah. Yeah, but they would. I think the implication is that she changes her name, so you don't have to acknowledge that he's living under an alias as well, because then they would have known that Jack Dawson is that Jack Dawson.
But why would it matter?
I don't know. Because she's not supposed to have the heart of the ocean.
Yes, she is. It was a gift to her. It's hers.
I don't remember. I don't fucking know. The movie's horrible.
I don't understand. I think they should keep the alternate ending that they have, where
Maybe you think
they catch her, and then she, in the face of that director, she goes, bleep.
In the face of?
The guy who's dead. Paxton. Bill Paxton.
James Cameron.
No, it's not him. It's his hands. He's the one that draws her naked. That's James Cameron.
Fuck you, James Cameron.
I mean, if Leonardo DiCaprio can't paint a nudie lady, how can he play? How can he play Frank Sinatra?
I think the alternate ending should be a flashback. It should show you what DiCaprio actually drew.
Just play like the fart sound.
Someone. There's a parody. I don't know if it was Robot Chicken. Someone did a spoof of that, and when he draws her, it's just a stick figure with like
the circle. Yeah,
two big boobs, and I think the necklace is like the line that comes down.
I want you to paint me wearing this, and only.
She may also know. I think the picture is a stick figure.
Are you thinking of the Thumbtanic? Because they do it in there too, and it's just
Is
a
that
thumb
it?
with big boobs.
I mean, it could be that, but I could have sworn there was something else I watched that parodied it, where it is a stick figure with two circles for boobs, the necklace, and maybe like a triangle for the vagina. And I'm like, this is hysterical. Yeah, I don't fucking remember that movie. I remember the bits and pieces of the bit, like, I remember the woman in the picture is me, because you do that all the fucking time.
The woman in the picture is me. That's from Thumbtanic, though. That's not from the actual movie. She doesn't say that in the real movie.
Why not? She should.
She just says like, I know her, and then she just goes like, it's me.
It would have been better.
He's like, oh, let's go lay down, Grandma. And she's like, no, I gotta call the TV.
It would have been better.
It's been 84 years.
It would have been better if she said, I know her, and then the next line is, the woman in the picture is me.
The woman in the picture is me. Yeah, that's not from that movie.
I remember that.
Sorry to ruin that for you.
I don't care. I remember that. I remember it's been an honor playing with you, gentlemen.
Wow, you really jump right to the end.
And the band. I remember...
Are you going to cut her meat for their cat?
I remember literally nothing before that boat sinks. Not a
I
damn
remember
thing.
where the unsinkable Molly Brown tells the story about her husband.
I remember the hand on the window. I remember the painting.
Where to, miss?
I remember...
I'd rather be his whore than your wife.
Nope, don't remember that.
I put the necklace in the jacket,
I
put the jacket on her.
I remember the guy from, I forget what the fuck his name is. He's in a ton of shit. But the guy who built the boat.
Oh.
When it's sinking. And
I
she
assure
sees
you, Rose,
him.
she can and she will. She says...
I remember the scene where it's him standing in the whatever room.
Mm-hmm.
As the boat is sinking.
Yeah, and that's what he says to her.
Yeah.
I assure you, Rose, she can and she will.
I remember I remember them saving the two kids and the guy, like, taking the kids away.
Please, she's all I have in the world.
And then
the
guy taking the kids away from him, like, angry that he's
and then
saving
running the wrong way.
Yeah, and then running into the water. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I remember
You're so stupid, Rose. Why would you do that? You're so stupid.
I remember them under the water trying to open the gate with the key. I remember that scene. All the boats. I remember that. The fucking coal whistle. I remember that.
Come back.
I misremembered the guy fucking ping-ponging. I thought they added a Wilhelm scream in there, but they don't.
No, it's just the ding.
It would have been better. And it's horrible, but I can't not watch that scene and laugh.
Oh, it's hysterical.
Like, ding, ding.
It's hysterical.
It's so fucked up. Oh, God. And I remember that, like...
You still had time to
what
remove
you're
your
watching
jacket.
is real time. Like, the time it took the boat to sink in the movie is how long it took the boat to sink in real life. James.
Isn't it like 27 minutes or something?
I don't remember.
No, it's got to be longer than that. It's
like
probably an hour.
37 minutes.
It's long.
It's like 37 minutes. It's like, cool, James Cameron. You could have made this movie like 30 minutes shorter.
Wasn't James Cameron having lunch on the Titanic when 9/11 happened?
Him and Bill Paxton were underwater on the actual Titanic having lunch in his submersible, and then came up and people were like, yo, 9/11 happened. And they were like, see ya, we're going back.
Isn't that wild? That is wild.
That's crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah, there's not a lot else I remember from that movie.
I could probably recite the whole entire
One of the
movie.
boat guys has the line of like, we waited too long or whatever when they're getting all the dead bodies in the water.
Oh.
When he's telling them to like check the bodies and the guy's like, they're all dead.
Yeah.
What am I checking for?
But they're not all dead.
Yeah, but
because Rose isn't dead.
Oh, one.
Come back.
Yeah, the one lady on the door. The lady on the door who I'll never let go and then immediately lets go.
Yeah.
Like, I get the symbolism of that line, but you could have added a couple more seconds to that, James Cameron. Because it is literally, I'll never let go,
Well, you've
Jack.
seen the
Fuck
joke.
off.
You've seen the joke that, like, he's not dead. He's just frozen, and then he thaws and washes up on the beach. Yeah, and that's how that movie comes. No, in the movie The Beach.
Oh, no. I've seen it's an Inception.
Oh.
Because is it his wife? Or no, it's because... Is he afraid of the water in Inception?
Well...
Either in Inception or Shutter Island, he's, like, terrified of the water. And people are like, oh, it's because you're Jack from Titanic.
It must be Shutter Island, because I don't think it was Inception. Doesn't his wife burn to death in Inception?
Yes. No.
Yes.
No, she jumps out a window.
Because their apartment's on fire. There's a fire.
No, that's Shutter Island.
Oh.
She murders the kids.
No, that's Inception.
No, that's Shutter Island.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
His kids are alive in Inception. Yeah, his kids are alive in Inception.
Oh, yeah, because they're playing.
She murders the kids and then burns the house down and... I don't remember.
Does she drown them?
She drowns them? I think she drowns the kids.
That's why I'm getting... Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And in Inception, they're in... It's the whole thing about, like, she lost touch of what was a dream and what was real. And then she just jumps out the window.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Yes.
Which isn't really jump. She's just, like, sitting on the ledge and just, like, woo.
Yeah, because she...
And he watches her do it.
Yeah.
He's telling her, like, come back in. Like, this is real life.
Yeah.
Knock it off. And then she just, like, peace out.
Yes.
It's very Shawshank Redemption of, like, I can't handle this.
That movie is wild.
Inception?
And it's they should have done a better job separating it from Shutter Island because it's very easy to get those two confused.
See, I don't think so.
Clearly.
I don't think so. I remember more of Inception than I do of Shutter Island.
I love Shutter Island.
It was good.
It's one that once you've seen it once, the big reveal is gone.
Yeah.
But I still
have to watch it once and only once.
Yeah.
Because then you watch it again and you're like, oh, no shit.
Yeah, but I still like it. I still like the storyline.
Whereas Inception, you can watch that multiple times. You're like, what the fuck is happening?
That's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Never saw it.
So good.
We're going to end on this. I had this at the end of like, if we make it, we make it. But if not, we'll move it on. But I want to end with this because I think this is hysterical. Red Lobster eyes bankruptcy option after $11 million losses from endless shrimp promotion.
Whoops.
This is from our local 6ABC affiliate.
Oh. Whoops. My stepper came off.
Red Lobster is in hot financial waters, attempting to stay afloat by eyeing Chapter 11 bankruptcy to restructure its debts after an endless shrimp promotion sank the seafood restaurant chain's bottom line, Bloomberg reported this week. According to Bloomberg, the restaurant is considering filing for Chapter 11 on the advice of law firm King & Spalding, which would allow the chain to stay open while dealing with its debt and help reevaluate long-term contracts
what happened?
And leases. The outlet reported that Fortress Investment Group, one of Red Lobster's key lenders, is also involved in current debt negotiations. The chain recently added Jonathan Tibbs.
Well, I just want to know why they're in debt.
As its new CEO, Tibbs worked with other restaurant chains to restructure their business, blah, blah. Kona Grill filed for bankruptcy in 2019. And fast food chain Crystal, which they have written here, fast food chain Crystal, which filed for bankruptcy in 2020. Last year, Red Lobster reported $11 million in operating losses following its flubbed Ultimate Endless Shrimp deal, which backfired when it reeled in too many customers after the limited time promo became a permanent menu fixture last June. Holy shit!
Well, no shit. You can't have a bottomless shrimp.
The restaurant chain later reported $12.5 million in losses in the fourth quarter of 2023. Earlier this year, Red Lobster's Thailand-based investor, Thai Union Group, announced it was divesting from the restaurant.
That is wild.
ABC News has reached out to Red Lobster for comment. There's so many sentences in here that are wild to me.
I think you have all the comments. Like, what do you want Red Lobster to say? Explain yourself?
Yeah, what explanation do you have?
Can I still get the endless shrimp right now, though? Because if so, I'm going tomorrow. If you're going to go out in a blades of glory. Shrimp for everybody. They're just in there. They're just winging shrimp around.
Oh, God.
But I have a question.
I can't wait for the commercial.
How much does the shrimp cost?
I can't wait for the commercial. It's just like, we here at Red Lobster have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy for a very limited time. Come in and get a bucket of shrimp to take home with you and a complimentary live lobster from our tank.
Yeah, we just gotta... We're selling everything off. The lobster tanks, the whole nine. So wait, it's what, $20?
Here,
it's probably $29.99, you think, for bottomless shrimp? That's not
Red
what it's not called
Lobster.
bottomless shrimp.
Endless shrimp.
Cost. How much does it cost?
A dine-in only offer, blah, blah, blah. $20 Ultimate Endless Shrimp.
Oh boy, you needed to...
$20 Ultimate Endless Shrimp returns to Red Lobster.
You needed to charge way more than $20.
So this article is from May 8th of 2023. Offers never-ending pleasure at the $20 price point with the return of its Ultimate Endless Shrimp promotion, available all day, every day at participating locations from now through May 28th.
Yeah, like leave it... That's a great, like, temporary promotion.
A dine-in only deal that allows guests to enjoy endless servings of Walt's favorite shrimp, Parrot Island jumbo coconut shrimp, shrimp skewers, garlic shrimp scampi, and shrimp linguine. In addition, each order of endless shrimp also comes with your choice of one regular side. For an additional charge, you can swap out the regular side for a salad.
Ooh.
Here's how it works. You can choose 2 shrimp preparations to kick off the indulgent meal, and when they're gone, simply continue ordering additional selections of the available entrees until you can eat no more. When you're done, you're allowed to take home any leftovers to enjoy later. You can find the Ultimate Endless Shrimp deal for $20 at participating Red Lobster locations. Blah, blah, blah.
How?
So not only is it all you can eat, it's also you can take some home. So what you're now doing is eating as much as you can in the restaurant.
Then you ask for one more.
Then making sure that you have enough gone that you can say, oh, can I get one more of whatever?
Yeah, and then you take it
Then
home.
you take like a bite or two. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, I can't eat anymore. Can you box this up for me?
Mm-hmm. But like how... So you're saying that you had an $11 million loss from this? How much shrimp are people eating? Are we okay? Is everyone getting their cholesterol checked? Because shrimp...
You have to think. How many participating restaurants
But I'm
were
just
there?
saying...
And then like... Because it said like people were flocking to Red Lobster. So you're in the mindset of like, I never go to Red Lobster. But now, for $20 I can get endless shrimp?
Eating that many shrimp is not good for you. Shrimp has a lot of cholesterol.
Let me live my life.
Well, cholesterol doesn't really matter for you. But like...
And yet you still yell at me for eating an entire container of
It's too much
cocktail
shrimp.
shrimp. It's never enough shrimp.
It's too much. I can't eat that many. They do make me feel full. Like shrimp isn't like...
I could eat endless shrimp. It does nothing for me.
Crab meat.
I love seafood. Does not fill me up in the slightest.
Crab meat does that. That's why I don't really go for crab legs, because it's too much. It's too much work, and I don't feel full.
I eat the seafood, go to the bathroom, I'm perfectly fine. Bring me more. I will destroy your all-you-can-eat endless shrimp. Well, no, I wouldn't, because it's not just shrimp. This is like shrimp scampi and pastas and such. That's filling you up.
Yeah, because it's the fried shrimp. You're not just getting cocktail. They're not giving out.
No, but it's
shrimp
even if you
cocktail.
get like shrimp scampi, that's not fried.
No, but it's very greasy.
But it's the pasta that's filling you up.
It's
not
very
the shrimp.
greasy. Well, shrimp scampi doesn't have pasta. It just comes in a little thing.
What am I thinking of?
The linguine.
What's the thing I get at Olive Garden?
Carbonara.
Oh, there it is.
I mean, scampi generally
Yes.
comes over pasta, but like
if you got the
what
shrimp
they
linguine-
serve there, it's
Yeah.
just in a little boat.
Well, their hope was probably the side would fill you up. The cheddar bay biscuits are going to fill you up.
They're gonna fill me up.
To the point of you're not going to eat. But what people were probably doing was like, for $20, fuck your bread, fuck your side.
Never.
Those sides did not get touched.
No, someone got a salad. That's
Or
just
you
like
got
a
your
palate
to-go
cleanser.
box. You got your to-go box and put your side.
Yeah, I put my bread and my salad in there.
Yeah, can I get 2 boxes right off the bat? Bread, side, bring me all the
It's like, you know what? Just don't even bother with the bread. Which is, why are you going to Red Lobster?
Well, we should have went, and I should have said, like, listen, I don't want the fried shrimp, I don't want your scampi, I don't want your linguine. What is it going to take for me to give you $20 for you to just go back and find a bucket, like a Home Depot bucket, fill it with shrimp, and bring it out here?
It's going to cost more than $20.
Why?
Because what you're getting...
It's $20 endless shrimp.
yeah, but they're
So
like...
all I'm asking you is, take the shrimp out of that. So my shrimp linguine, whatever. Remove all the pasta and just bring me the shrimp.
The shrimp are like the little, like, dinky guys in the linguine.
Fine.
Those creepy things.
Don't tell me it's endless if it's not endless.
What is endless? You just have to play by their rules.
It's not endless. According to them, you can go as long as
It's
you
not
want.
limitless. Like, you're hoping for, like, just bring me the shrimp. And they're like, no, we're going to bring you the shrimp like we say we're going to bring
Yeah.
you. There's parameters.
And I eat the shrimp, and then I shuffle the pasta somewhere else, and then you just keep bringing me the shrimp.
You don't have to eat the pasta.
You probably do. If you ate just the shrimp, like, can I get more? They'd be like, you didn't eat anything.
You just put it in your pocket and then dump it in the toilet. Come back.
Yeah. That's where you take your family. Your wife has a purse. Your daughter has a purse. You bring your mother. Whoever can carry a purse. I mean, anyone can carry a purse. It wouldn't matter. But you're not going to get weird looks if, like, all of you have purses. But if all the women have purses, fine. And you just... There's foil in that bitch. It's all empty. You just fucking dump all the pasta in there. Bring me all the shrimp. I want to put you people...
Well, you know what?
I want to put you people into chapter 11.
I want to see the waistlines of how many people were in the Red Lobster. Do you think Red Lobster saw people come like, oh shit? We went to a place in Maryland for all you can eat crab legs, and it was a 2-hour limit. Remember? I'm like, who the fuck is sitting here for longer than 2 hours?
Ken.
Oh my god.
But not. My Uncle Ken, God rest his soul. Not that I believe in any of that, but he would do it not for, like, I'm not full. He's not doing it. He is doing it for 2 things. 1, slow as shit. 2, when they used to go to Hooper's and get all you can eat crabs, he sat there until he made sure, because he knew how much crabs should cost.
Oh,
Like,
so he
per
waited.
per the bushel or whatever. So he knew how many crabs he had to eat to make it worth the price of all you can eat crabs, and he would make sure that he weighed it worth it.
It's never worth it for
And
me.
we would all be done eating, and he's still going, and we're like, I want to fucking go home.
That's me. That, like, the second we sit down, I'm like, I have regrets. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want this. Like, stop it.
You're an adult. You can leave.
No, well, nowhere has it anymore, thank God.
How dare you? How dare you? Everywhere should still have it. It's blasphemous the amount of places in Delaware that you can't get crab legs, period.
Yeah.
Not even all you can eat.
It's just the blue crabs.
You can't even get those at a lot of places anymore. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're a goddamn beach town.
Gotta go get my chicken Chesapeake. So good.
No, gotta go to that gay bar, whatever it was called. The Purple Parrot or whatever.
Yeah.
It was. Oh, food was so
Their
good.
food was really good.
What did I get? That shrimp wrap? What the hell was it?
It was like a shrimp BLT sort of thing.
Whatever it was so good.
I do not remember what I had, but I do remember it was good.
Oh, I think you had salmon? Steak?
No, it was lunch.
Oh, yeah, it was lunch. I don't remember. It was good.
Yeah, whatever I had, it was really good.
Yeah.
It was maybe some kind of tacos. It was like something that I wouldn't normally get, but I was like, I'm just gonna try it.
All I can think of with the Red Lobster
It was some kind of fish tacos.
is there was a Simpsons episode that did that. Where it was all you getting and Homer put them out of business.
No.
And
I bet it's that they're not the first restaurant chain to have been
really
burned.
mad that no one... Someone should make... I should do it when we promote this episode. I mean, I don't know where I would find a picture of him, but I should find the picture of the CEO of Red Lobster, put him in a Red Lobster, like a crowded... Find a Google picture of like a crowded Red Lobster. You put the... And this is where like someone needs to do it that's better equipped at Photoshop than I am. You put like the endless shrimp poster in the background, and then it's just the CEO standing there, but the dialogue is, "I will never financially recover."
Yep. It could just be him in front of the Red Lobster with like the little sign.
Or you take the exact like that still shot from Tiger King, and then you just like put his face over Joe Exotic's body.
Yeah.
Well, you have to put the endless shrimp.
Yeah, you have to make it known.
Somewhere.
Yeah, we have to highlight that this is because of the shrimp.
That's all I think of is when I heard that, I thought of like that's him in his office, just like, I will never financially recover from this. Oh, that man! That man is haunted by the commercials for endless shrimp.
He is.
When he goes to sleep at night, that's what he sees, and he wakes up in a cold sweat.
I mean, he probably doesn't care, honestly.
Well, you care for the fact that like you have to now file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Yeah, but like he's done.
Because your promotion was the stupidest fucking thing you could do. Because you did it for a limited time, and like, oh, never mind, we'll just do it all the time.
Well, you know, whoever's idea it was to make it permanent is fired.
Oh, definitely. Like, immediately, that guy was fired. Before any of this even happened, that guy was fired.
Yeah, they were like, oh, this is a big mistake.
Yeah. The second someone came in, like, our restaurants are busier than ever. People were like, why?
Like, oh, did your service improve? Probably not.
Why? The service is terrible. We got rid of the good dessert.
How did you even get enough shrimp to ever even be full?
Yeah.
How did you get your waiter to come back?
Yeah. Well, that's why. Because you ate it, and you're like, oh, I couldn't eat another bite. But then by the time the fucking waiter came back, you're like, you know what, I could eat more. Bring another plate.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. They gave you way too much time to just burn it off and go to the bathroom and come back like, yeah, bring me more.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's been 45 minutes since the last time you were at this table.
Yeah.
And I asked you for the check 2 hours ago, and you haven't brought it, so just bring me more food.
It's like, you know what, cancel the check.
Well, you can bring the check, because it's $20.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
it
paying
doesn't
you
matter.
anymore.
Just bring another round.
Refills are free, I think. That could be wrong. But thank you for joining us once again on this very fun episode of Red Lobster's Endless Shrimp Promotion.
We should make it a Cards Against Humanity card.
We definitely should. We'll have to do that on our DIY cards. I think I'm now going to start every episode by saying, welcome back to the French You Can Keep podcast. This episode is brought to you by Red Lobster's Endless Shrimp Promotion. Oh, goodness. Follow us on social media. If you're listening to this, check us out on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're listening to this, please subscribe and rate and review and do all that stuff that you do, because I think it's different on every format you listen to it on. Yeah. Outside of that, thanks for joining us. We will talk to you all next week. We love you, and as always, thank you for being a friend. Good night.